Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. You are watching StarLadder Star Series, and this is a game between NEXT.kz and aSpera. So this game is actually, as you can see, I don't have a co-caster, at least I'm trying to... There we go, that's the one I was looking for, trying to make the right overlay. Yeah, I wasn't aware that this was gonna happen, and it actually started a bit earlier than I thought as well, so I didn't have time to get a replacement for Mod, who was not here yet, because of course it is... like it's an hour earlier than we were planning on starting, so that's why. So here we are, NEXT.kz versus aSpera for VOD purposes. As you can see, the draft's already done. The reason for this is that this is a rematch for the game that was played on Friday, where aSpera was able to beat NEXT.kz in 15 minutes due to heavy lag issues on the side of NEXT.kz. So this is the full rematch, and I'm kind of curious to see how things are going to go, as we do have some disconnects coming out from aSpera, and I do have some chat... no, never mind. That I have to check. I didn't have to check that. Do have to get the admin chat open though, just in case, because I do want to note that if this game miraculously lasts for an hour or so, then we will jump ourselves to Fnatic versus 4FC, which is going to be our official first game of the day. And we have got the go again. Well, this is also a bit, sad, because now I have got coffee, but I can't actually drink it because A, there's no draft, and normally during the draft you can at least drink coffee, but there's also no co-caster that, can take the attention away from me. So I might be drinking some coffee, otherwise it will be cold, and cold coffee, I mean, it's nice only, but if it's iced coffee, if it's meant to be cold. This coffee is not meant to be cold. Well, let's take a look at who is playing what, as you might have, of course, already have forgotten who is, which draft they had. So we've got ourselves a Venomancer, will be played by the stand-in Lucky. Looks like he might be helping Inquisitor out. Inquisitor will be playing the offlane. And Vlad also very late for him to join, so he didn't even have time to tell his stream on. But Inquisitor will play the offlane. I'm actually expecting Lucky to just be warding and then go rotate bottom, but we'll see how much he'll be there. Inquisitor indeed on the Wind Ranger. Then in the mid lane we have got ourselves Sharvik. He'll be playing the Tinker, so that's a hero that we haven't seen him that often on just yet. We have another stand-in for aSpera, and this one is Topor. He'll be playing the Mirana, and that leaves one in the pool. It is Tomasz, another stand-in. 3 stand-ins here for aSpera, as Tomasz will play the Nature's Prophet, and yes, that means that there is a Tinker and a Nature's Prophet in the same game, so a lot of split push could happen in this game. Taking a look at NEXT.kz, they have got themselves Mantis. He'll play the Weaver. Looks like he'll be wanting to have an aggressive trailing going on here. Amazing will be going on the Lich. We've got ourselves Reeves. He'll be on the Alchemist. This is a support Alchemist. And we have Equal playing the Elder Titan. And of course, last but not least, we already saw him briefly. Wadafaka is here. So yeah, for the rest of the day I will be joined by Mod, but for this game it was, yeah. The thing was, for these two teams, it was, since the game was already played once, they got told, you can play the game in between 1600 and 1900 at any given time this day. So they scheduled it themselves, and we couldn't really schedule it in for certain. It was a bit of a random one there. As what the fuck, I might be in some trouble here, but what's he doing? What's he doing? I think he was maybe still AFK? He was like... Oh my god, that was really bad. Let's just call it that. I think that there might have been some kind of issue. No, he did it on pause and everybody was ready. His teammate actually on pause, so... Kinda awkward for him to be doing that one, to give that first blood away. He does make sure that he is back in time to block, but... With the first blood going the way of aSpera this early on, going to the Wind Ranger, who is already on the offlane, so normally doesn't really get that much.
So winded now.
It's very good indeed. We do have Nature's Prophet going to the offlane. Wind Ranger herself is of course a support in this game, I guess. Oh yeah, Inquisitor. I keep forgetting that they've swapped roles. Inquisitor used to be always the offlane. We've seen him a lot on the Doom offlane, but with the recent role switches, he is actually the support. So this is a Wind Ranger support together with the Venomancer support, and already getting the first blood on those two supports is pretty impressive. Also will be a fast upgraded courier, fast boots, fast levels as well, of course, cannot forget those. And we see them rotate. They will be having a ward here, so Mantis should be fairly safe. He is still slightly supported. We do have the Lich around there, but all he does is just denying creeps, keep the lane in check in favor of NEXT.kz. Equal is the one farming here. He'll farm on the Elder Titan. And Reeves himself, I mean, he'll try to harass a bit, but it's still 2 melees up against 1 range. So Tomasz should be always able to be in range and at least get himself some experience and farm, as NEXT.kz will have... yeah, just a bit issues with trying to get that farm. But it's interesting laning coming off from NEXT.kz, to be honest. Elder Titan is a hero that you normally see on the off lane. And Weaver then on the safe lane. I guess Weaver with the Lich, I mean Lich can basically support anything because he'll still be able to pull the wave back. But I am quite interested to see, because Nature's Prophet up against the Weaver would be going the way of the Weaver for sure. But interesting laning indeed coming out from them. We'll see how aSpera deals with that, and how NEXT.kz of course deals with that, if they can actually make something happen off the back of those tri lanes, or dual lanes rather. Wadafaka up against a tough Sharvik matchup. Sharvik is, I mean, we haven't seen him that often on Tinker, but he is a very strong mid player on the hero regardless, as it is also a very mobile hero, and he just thrives off of mobile heroes. So kind of curious to see what he can do with that late game. I'm already kind of happy that they have that one. Wadafaka though, 10 for 1 up against 11 for 1. I mean, he of course died in first blood, but he did not give anything away to Sharvik, so this is basically still a fresh lane for him. And with that fresh lane, he can get himself perhaps slightly ahead. So far, slightly behind though, or at least not fairly even. The only thing he's behind on is his bottle and amount of regen that he has left, because there's still a salve up on Sharvik, and Wadafaka already just used itself. The bottle is now up on both though. In terms of items, they both got themselves a null talisman. In the meantime, Lucky might be in some trouble, get harassed a lot, but it's still tri lane. It's still difficult to do something against that, even with the double damage Lich. Lich is actually a very decent range, so in terms of harassment, he might be able to get something off there, but he is just stacking ancients right now, so that his team might be able to use them to get ahead later on. I mean, NEXT.kz is not doing bad, but their Weaver has only got 6 last hits. And the thing about a Weaver is he does need farm, and he is not really getting it right now. On top of that, I mean, it would be okay if you were kind of shutting down a Mirana. Mirana is still getting last hits. It might not be as many as she would be if she would might not be as many as she would get if she was free farming, but she's still getting more than the Weaver. And in this kind of lineup, the point that aSpera's lineup is starting to be really fearful is when, or fearsome rather, is when Nature's Prophet and Tinker have got like their core items ready. When their Boots of Travel are there, and maybe a Blink Dagger or Force Staff for Sharvik as well. Nature's Prophet with either a Necronomicon or Shadowblade, or at least some kind of item that helps him with his push. Then you might be starting to worry if you were NEXT.kz. That's your time that you have to start making things happen. They have got a fairly okay ganking lineup, if Wadafaka get his Blink Dagger, of course. And I'm saying ganking lineup because they kind of need to gank either Sharvik or Nature's Prophet if they ever want to take a fight. If NEXT.kz ever wants to take a fight, they have to be sure that there's not going to be any split pushing happening while they fight. And to do that, they have to just kill off those split pushers. Sounds so easy, but it's actually quite difficult, as Inquisitor actually gets harassed quite a bit there by Mantis. Mantis, he gets some levels here also from, of course, these neutrals that go down, so that's fairly decent. We do have a bit of a rotation coming in. Alchemist already charging up a stun, looking for Sharvik. Acid spray, stun, and that should be Sharvik dead. The right click should always still come through, and that is indeed going to be a kill. But that is going to be a return kill for the Tinker. Might not get the experience from it, but he does get the gold as Wadafaka gets a Dream Coil off on Nature's Prophet, and he actually might still go for it. Tomasz just walks into that orb. Wadafaka still going for that. The silence, it's a double kill for Wadafaka. Goes the way of NEXT.kz, even with the kill still taken by Sharvik, but Nature's Prophet just teleporting in to die. In the meantime, Mantis shackled to a tree, now Galed as well, and he will be picked up as well. That's going to be a 2-on-2 across the map. Within the end, a fairly even trade in terms of having a solo mid taken down and a offlane taken down on both sides. slightly in favor still for NEXT.kz. I mean, the Weaver wasn't getting anything anyway, and Nature's Prophet was actually doing quite okay there on that top lane. Apart from levels, well, actually, he's not doing as well as I thought he might be doing. He is at least a hero that can catch up way easier than the Weaver can. Just the Hand of Midas, and Nature's Prophet is going to be fine. He farms faster when he's got his ulti up. He should be just fine. This is a big ancient stack. I'm actually kind of worried about this ancient stack because who is gonna farm this? I mean, okay, they can have the acid spray, so the minus armor helps out. That's nice. But they don't really have any AoE hitter as Reeves charge up his stun. The stun still hits, even though there's a Sprout Earthsplitter coming in as well. There's no way he can get out. Equal with the kill. All the Titan Earthsplitter doing the damage. Mantis shackled. This is the second time. He does have another Sakushi, but the arrow, oh, barely making it out of that arrow. If that arrow would have hit, he would have died. It's actually thinking about coming in again, or perhaps at least staying in range for the experience, but wisely backs himself off. Amazing. I mean, I'm quite surprised he's still been getting level 3. It's mostly from the Knight experience. He hasn't been stealing that much from Mantis, because Mantis is level 5, which is pretty decent. Same level as the Mirana. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with the way that Amazing is doing this. I mean, he's not doing anything really that, you know, requires lots of skill, but it's still, it's very good of him to not be around Mantis ult too much, because he does, like, if he's not getting a farm, at least he's getting the levels. Hiccup. Shackle almost latches. Mantis will be fine though. We do have a bit of a rotation. Alchemist, the one that's been involved in all kills so far, coming in with the acid spray, and that is going to be doing the job, just spamming out that acid spray. If they can get themselves a lot of farm for Mantis that way, it's actually not that bad. Not that bad at all. Making everybody walks past. This is pretty dangerous. As in, yeah, I mean, for aSpera. This Alchemist could have the option to rotate into a Hand of Midas and then start being a bit of a more of a semi-carry in the mid to late game. I mean, yeah, it's going just fine. He's level 6 right now. Level-wise doing just fine. We have got, of course, Sharvik level 7 here. He's sitting on 1600 gold, so he is very close to finishing off his Boots of Travel. And he is probably going to finish that up before he goes for his Soul Ring, which I'm expecting him to get afterwards. But, yeah. Looking pretty decent for him. 44 to 6, but Motherfucker sitting on 42 to 6. And even though, of course, there's one that's close to his Boots of Travel, there's another one that is close to his Blink Dagger, and that's the one that he wants to go for. What a fucker. With that Blink Dagger, he might be able to put some pressure on the map to stop potential split pushes from happening. We all know how difficult it becomes that when that Tinker has Boots of Travels, towers will be very difficult to take down. And NEXT.kz, they need to have a plan. What a fucker is that plan? Diego, leave me alone. Thank you. Sorry, I had to drop the cat off the desk. Apparently doesn't like the smell of coffee. Tomasz, going for that Hand of Midas still by the looks of it indeed. It's fairly slow, but he's fine. I mean, he is not the one to be holding off the tower, like, to be split pushing most here in this game. That's actually Sharvik right here. So the pressure is a bit relief from the Nature's Prophet, and therefore he might be able to transition into a bit more carry items himself. I mean, in terms of carry, Mirana carry is not the greatest that you can think of. On top of that, her farm is not really something to write home about just yet, but she is a great playmaker. Arrows make for good options, good possibilities to get kills, as he actually might be able to pick up a... Oh, time lapse, thank you. Mirana there, the leap was still happening, so that made her safe. Mantis though, with this time lapse, being very confident here on this bottom lane. But yeah, Mirana needs a lot of farm before she's able to be some kind of a carry, and NEXT.kz's Weaver and Alchemist, if they do farm up that Alchemist, will be turning into harder carries than that Mirana can be. So, in terms, like, if you think of it, a very, very, very late game. Rune stolen! Still have equal farming very nicely. He is actually the one that's farmed most of all in terms of last hit. 61 for 33. 33 denies, yes. Alchemist actually charging up a stun, looking for at least a kill, maybe on Sharpik. They get the stun off. He's kind of out of mana as well. Does have his boots of travel, but doesn't get a chance to use them. One more punch. Actually, Moonlight Shadow keeps him up. And it's the Alchemist that's forced back together with Equal. Nature's Prophet still getting us proud of. Weaver in the meantime going down the bottom lane. And Equal and Reeves looking to make a comeback. The Moonlight Shadow ends. The stun will hit, but Tinker comes back with full health, full mana. Rockets and lasers will fly. Will not kill off Equal, but it was very close. He's trying to TP himself out. Another rocket will fly, and that will do the job indeed. The arrow flying in too late. In comes Motherfucker, taking down the Nature's Prophet. Sharpik, again low on mana, but forced back out, and he'll be just fine, just peachy. The fight, I would say, taken by aSpera, killing off the Elder Titan, the highest farmed hero on the map. That is a big deal. That is a big deal for sure. And they don't lose anything. They also are able to take the Weaver on the bottom lane with that same Moonlight Shadow. And all that NEXT.kz gets is a Nature's Prophet. So we've got 3 people starting in the mid lane. Looks like this Venomancer is very prone on taking down this tower. Placing the wards, making sure the creep wave does not pass. Pun. Slightly. Very small pun. I wonder if it's a coincidence that the pause happens at the same time that I drink my coffee. I guess I'm superstitious sometimes. As we do have a disconnect, so we have to wait for an Inquisitor to come back. Inquisitor is a maxed out Shackle, by the way. I mean, he's a support Wind Ranger. And he is actually going for an Orchid. I really like that. Because they do need something else next to the Mirana. And Venomancer can go full hard support. He can buy all the wards. And just leave Wind Ranger to do some kind of semi-carrying, perhaps. Or at least utility with the Orchid. Orchid, of course, very strong, not only against Puck, stopping him from silencing people, stopping him from orbing out, but also very good if you can get an orb, if you can get a silence up on the Alchemist before he chemical rages, get a silence up on Weaver before he can time lapse, before he can Shakushi. It's a very good item up against a team of NEXT.kz. NEXT.kz themselves, they do have an Alchemist with the Hand of Midas, so yes, Reeves is hoping to sooner or later transition into more of a semi-carry. I think he has a very good potential to do that. Elder Titan just went for treads, went for drums, just sustainability, survivability. And he's, I think, ready to start punching people. And I think Weaver, I mean, he is just very far behind. He is still going to get a Hand of Midas. It's a Hand of Midas to try and get back on track. If it is fast enough, time will tell. If it's still possible for him to get back in this one. But it will be a uphill battle for him for sure. And it's pretty difficult to try and farm it. Like, if you are looking for places to farm, you normally go to the lanes where nobody else is seen, right? And that is exactly what the Nature's Prophet and Tinker normally do too, because that's where they teleport to, that's where they start split pushing. And at some point, Nature's Prophet or Tinker, or both, I'm actually expecting Nature's Prophet to be the one in this case, might be having an Orchid of his own, or a Hex. Both will have a Hex at some point, if they, you know, if they make it to that stage of the game. But Weaver will be a very squishy hero and a very good target to kill. And on top of that, a kind of predictable target as well. Ooh, now I have to type something on the side screen. There we go. Done. There we have to go again. Look at that. Perfect timing. Perfect timing indeed. Well, let's see how this push fares.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Tinker's already back in this. On this tower. I fear the worst for this tower, to be honest. I don't think that NEXT.kz can really fight this. The Acid Spray will pull the creep wave back, which is nice enough. But NEXT.kz, they can't really fight yet. The only one that could potentially fight is Motherfucker, but he's completely out of mana and not in the middle lane. And he needs to be able to fight up against one person or have a good backup to fight more than one. And good backup would consist of an Elder Titan at this point. Perhaps also of an Alchemist. I mean, the thing that NEXT.kz kind of lacks at this moment, which I'm kind of scared about. Like, they have got, of course, one side of Ice Carry in the Puck. They've got a stun in the Alchemist. But that's it. That's their only real disable that they have. Dream Coil.
Radiant's top tower
Still people are able to cast spells and kill you off. Tinker just continuously menace here. In the meantime, Equal. He is the one also to carry this game on his back. Until that the Weaver can do that by himself or can do that with the help of them. But Elder Titan going in from behind. He got scouted out though. Like, there's a ward right here. And he walked past that, so they know exactly where he is. The Moonlight Shadow goes on. They know he's there. They are trying to find him. There he is. Locked in position by the ward. The Shackle comes out as well as the power shot. Equal is dead. That's gonna be 6 for 4 with aSpera just having a firm grip on this game. And there's not real all that much else that NEXT.kz can do apart from waiting. Motherfucker goes down here as well. Tried to come in to help. Almost takes down the Mirana, but no. That were the two higher farmed heroes on the map. You know what should worry NEXT.kz right now? Is that the solo safe lane that was doing fairly okay has got less farm than the support Alchemist, who's going for a Shadow Blade. Of course, we cannot really call him a support anymore, as they failed to deny their tower. But it is pretty scary right now. I mean, Alchemist is highest for his team, second highest on the map. Don't get me wrong, it's very good for the Alchemist. Sharfik going for the mechanism for his team, so allowing a bit more push to happen. Does mean that he is going to be the one to be with his team most of the time. And if there's going to be split pushing, it's going to be done by Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet who's, well, he's farming okay-ish because of the Hand of Midas. Back to the jungle with him. Mirana's still farming bottom, got herself phase and drums as well, just a bit of early game potential for her, but in the meantime she'll just be bottom and be farming. I'm waiting for Tinker to come to her lane and try and make things happen. Tinker, who is backing up Inquisitor here on the top lane, or at least he was, teleports out, now teleports back middle, just continuously pushing the lanes out, giving NEXT.kz no opening to do anything whatsoever. But Tinker is needed bottom right now, with Motherfucker Equal and Amazing being here. Amazing does have his Chain Frost. And they might be looking to use it, might be looking for a fight here. For now they back off, leave Motherfucker here to farm.
I think not.
Motherfucker, there is a small chance he's going for a Dagon. He has got the start of it, but of course that no talisman is always going to be there. So we'll see what he ends up going for with those items. I mean, a Dagon isn't even that bad in this game. Considering that every hero on aSpera is fairly squishy. They don't have a, so to speak, tank picked up. Right, rockets flying out as Venomancer is the one to get last hit on the Puck. Puck couldn't get himself away in time. Shackles flying. And in comes the next push. Bottom lane tier 1 is the goal, and I don't think that they're gonna get stopped. NEXT.kz, actually they are going in with the Shadow Blade. The stun will hit upon 3 people. Reeves making it happen. Lich Ultimate bouncing around as well. Nature's Prophet already died, looking for the next one, looking for Sharfik. That March of the Machines though, already over, but it doesn't matter. Reeves was low enough to be picked up by that power shot. Equal runs himself away, ends up being a 2-on-2. 2-on-1 I should say, because Alchemist is the only one that actually died in that fight, and Mirana and Nature's Prophet were picked up by NEXT.kz. Puck was of course still dead. Imagine what could have happened if Puck was still there and there would have been a Dream Coil, right? Like right now, he only catches one with that one. Perhaps he can make something happen. No, jumps over to the other side. Where is his team? Are they gonna try and help him out? They shoot, the stomp comes out, doesn't hit upon Inquisitor though. And what a fucker, he's gonna go down again if he's not careful. Has to jump himself over, still jumps himself in the middle of the March of the Machines. Goes down for the second time in just a minute or two. And with Puck dead, aSpera, they're continuing to push. It was such a good fight for NEXT.kz. It could have been such a good fight for NEXT.kz if just what a fucker wouldn't have gotten picked up there.
Structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's gonna be Sharvik taking the tower money as well, sitting on 1400 gold.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Reeves. I really love this from him because, I mean, he is right now, like, Elder Titan can't do it apparently. He can't be carrying his team around. Neither can what a fucker, he's proven that one as well. But perhaps Reeves can. The Alchemist. The support Alchemist has a Shadow Blade, Hand of Midas, and I still call him a support Alchemist, but he is not a support Alchemist. He is the highest farmed hero on the side of NEXT.kz, with Tinker being very far ahead of him. But it's a Tinker, and he is just doing really well. He's got 4 out of the 11 kills that are on the board, been involved in 6 of them. And of course, with those boosted travel, he's just able to farm up so much. On top of that, his team already took down 2 towers, while on the side of NEXT.kz, they don't have any extra gold that they have gotten from towers down on the side of aSpera. Mantis still trying to farm up, still trying to get back into this game. Right now he's just not able to contribute, and he knows that too. So he's going for his Lincoln still. It's fairly far off though. It's amazing, just keeps helping Reeves with that farm. Keeps helping him with that acid or with the ancient stack. Reeves? Dude. Thank you. Punched. Yeah, has to be careful. Because if he dies to neutrals, they're gonna be good. Tier 1 tower once again, gonna be under siege. I don't think that there is anything that NEXT.kz can do against this. I mean, we saw their team fight potential. If Alchemist gets a good initiation off, that's great. But they need to have everybody there. Previous fight did not go as well as it could have because Puck was dead. Because there was no Dream Coil. Mirana coming back bottom. I'm not sure if that's the right call though. She does make a, or at least Sharvik makes a drawing on the minimap, saying like they're coming from this side. Well, he is a bit wrong, but they see that because they've got a ward, so they will be able to counter that. Hello. I was gonna say like, aren't you gonna counter that ward? That would be nice. So they can't go for a push there. I mean, that's gonna be one of the hardships that NEXT.kz is gonna feel, right? If you want to get your items, get your core items up still, the tower money makes such a difference. Tower gold is just really needed, and by the looks of it, they're just not gonna have that anytime soon. They need bigger, better items before they can start doing that. Reeves actually sitting on 3k gold. Curious to see what he's gonna go for. If we're gonna see him going for a bit of a standard item, BKB, Assault Grass, you know, safe, solid. Or, if we're gonna see him go a bit more adventurous, go for old school Radiance. Would help with the counter push. Wow, that power shot really hurts. Looks like he needs some survivability though. As we just saw, that power shot hurt him quite hard.
Not so.
Yeah. Equal. We haven't really seen too much of him just yet. He's been involved in 4 out of the 6 kills. Don't get me wrong. He's been involved, but he's not been as involved as I was hoping he could be. Mechanism is ready for him right now, so that will help his team out. But I'm just not sure if this Elder Titan is working out the way I think it should have. Nah, Mantis, careful there. I mean, you could have laned it differently. They could have put Elder Titan on the safe lane. Put Elder Titan on the hard lane. Put Mantis on the safe lane. Let him free farm up. Okay, Mirana would have a bit more farm than what she has right now. That would be the trade. Mid wouldn't be any different. And actually, if you still put equal together with a Lich, there would still be a slight advantage in terms of, you know, denying farm to that Mirana. But they didn't go for that. They didn't lane it the way that I just said they should have, could have, perhaps. Woohoo! Nice snipe for the rune. Sharpik gets it. Haste rune. Motherfucker gets himself out. 3 people top. Alchemist already loading up the invis, but he's not going to be able to find anybody. He knows that too, so he's just going to punch people. Gonna continue his farm with that level 4 of Grievel's Greed. BKB indeed is going to be the item of his choice. I don't blame him for it. I mean, it's a survivability item. He just definitely needs that. We'll see how long NEXT.kz can delay the game. That's their goal. Delay the game until they have their core items up. And then start trying to pick off heroes of aSpera and then push in afterwards. They can't really fight 5 on 5, as said. That even if they do get everybody of aSpera there, then they will be fighting in the March of the Machines, which is not going to be favorable for them. And if they don't fight 5 on 5, as in if they are fighting 5 on 4, then there will be a Tinker or a Nature's Prophet split pushing, and that's also not something that they would be looking for. So NEXT.kz in a tough spot. 0 gold difference though. And experience difference is in favor of NEXT.kz, which is because it's actually fairly simple, because NEXT.kz has been all over the map and aSpera is just close together for most of the time. They're sharing a lot of their experience. Even Tinker comes down in with a place where 3 other people are already standing. So in that regard, NEXT.kz is not doing that bad. Of course, also the Hand of Midas, 1 Hand of Midas more for NEXT.kz makes a difference. On top of that, they've got 4 cores rather than 3. There also comes their difficulty though. Because if you do have 4 cores, how is each of your core gonna get the amount of farm that it needs? I mean, Elder Titan needs farm, Alchemist needs farm, Weaver needs a lot of farm, even though he does have his Lincolns ready right now. And Puck needs farm. And there's only 3 lanes. You can't fight all 3 normally. Still will TP out of Mantis' claws. Lincoln's popped. Time lapse instantly. He has already got himself out. Nice courier snipe. That one was right in the Radiant jungle. It's not the side that you would expect to see the courier sniped off, by the way. You'd expect to see it snipe on the side of NEXT.kz since they are against the Nature's Prophet, but Nature's Prophet has not been able to do that just yet. And he is indeed going for a Necronomicon as predicted. Ooh, let's see what Wadafaka finds, because he is roaming around with that Invis rune. There are a lot of people right on top of him though. Or close by anyways. If he tries something, he is going to be finding himself in a lot of trouble, but he's just going to blink himself to the high ground. Nobody ever knew he was there. Careful there, Inquisitor. He's got his Orchid ready, but have to be having that backup if he's there. Can NEXT.kz actually take that first tower? Tinker already teleported in. He's able to blink himself away, though. They know exactly where he is because of the spirit, but can't do anything against it. Can't deal with him. Arrows equal. Takes it. In comes the Moonlight Shadow. The Gale. Wadafaka comes in. His silence actually not hitting anything, but his Dream Coil up on 3. Yules keeping Wadafaka safe for the moment as Lich Ultimate is bouncing around and helps kill off the Mirana. Elder Titan is still dead, but it looks like it's at least an even trade. Wadafaka, he'll be able to make it out alive. Nice Shadow Blade for Alchemist, get himself away, as Mantis also gets himself away just using Sakushi. It is aSpera that is the one that is still charging, is the one that still wants to kill. Mantis and Reeves forced back. This could be an opening into the tier 3 tower on the side of NEXT.kz. As their Alchemist still gets sniped. Nice Sprout, Shackle onto the Sprout. Good coordination. Mid lane, Tinker fighting up against Mantis. Looks like Mantis will have a tough time fighting in the March of the Machines. So don't do that! Whoa! He actually was forced to time-lapse there. Still takes quite a bit of damage. Almost has to go back to base. He's sitting on 2k gold. I mean, he's not doing bad. But not as good as you should be. Again, NEXT.kz, they have got this timing that they need to be careful about, because later on in the game, Tinker and Nature's Prophet, even though they might not be the hardest carry in the game, this is something that you don't like. The amount of split push that you'll have to deal with is just insane. Insufferable. Well, let's see if they can take the outer towers first before they start split pushing a bit more heavily. What a fucker, he's gonna jump in, he's gonna Dream Coil, only one though. The Shackle doesn't ledge, does delay his aggression though, and actually, he gets arrowed and power shotted. He dies. Tinker teleporting into his teammate that all slept, but him TPing in is enough to force NEXT.kz back. NEXT.kz on the run still, with actually Lich almost dying, just 30 health left. TPs himself out after the rocket of Tinker. Almost indeed killed him. Roshan will now be taken by aSpera. NEXT.kz, I would say this is the moment where they start losing, That's a period right there. They are, even though the graphs don't really show it that much, they are behind. Their control has wavered. They don't really have it anymore. They need a mistake from aSpera. Or they need a big wombo combo. We have already seen that once when Puck wasn't there. An Alchemist stun landed on 2 or 3 heroes. Earth Splitter coming through. In comes the Alchemist. He's already charging up the stun. Does have his BKB. Is able to pick up the Venomancer with the stun, but he's already shackled to a tree. Does have time to turn on the BKB, but is forced to run away right afterwards. And those marks of the machine still hurt you if you are in the BKB. Nature's Prophet at least still picked up by the Puck, as we do have the Roshan still up and perhaps even taken down by NEXT.kz. It is 2 for 0. An Alchemist still alive. Once again in the Shadow Blade, it is an Aegis that gets taken by Wadafaka. And it is gonna be, whoa! Lich the dice to the Wind Ranger. I think Inquisitor is gonna pay for that one. Now Dream Coil up and 2 actually catches Sharpik as well. If they can pick him up, that would be huge. But they are the ones in trouble right now. But it looks a bit, Inquisitor still dies. But Sharpik making it out. What a fucker, chasing him down, jumps himself to his orb. I think he can do it. Mantis on the hunt. That should be 1 hit away from dying. Mantis Shukushiing towards Sharpik. Gets helped by a Lucky. They really still want him. That Soul Ring might have just killed him off. Weaver, time lapses just in time. Looking for the next one. That's a team wipe right there. NEXT.kz. I said they needed a big fight with a big stun from Alchemist. That is not what they got, but they did get the fight, and it looks like they will get their first tower off the back of that fight. Elder Titan hiding. I don't blame him. He doesn't have a teleport scroll, and the Nature's Prophet ultimate was bouncing around, so you don't want to be in vision there. So he tries to get away just by walking. But that was a big fight for NEXT.kz. First tower taken, and all of a sudden Tinker is no longer highest on the net worth there. As you can see, it is the Weaver and the Alchemist. Alchemist who is still going for the Assault Cuirass, so yes, still safe items. I guess my hope was just futile. I hope that at some point it will still get done though, but, you know, I don't know. Now this is a big gold graph dip for sure. I mean, it's not only the fight, of course, but also the time that Sharpik cannot farm. Same thing goes for the experience graph. NEXT.kz already was ahead because they weren't rotating with the 5 of them all that much, not as much as aSpera was anyways. And they're still very far behind on towers. But imagine this. I mean, they are already ahead in gold. Even they were like even on gold with having 5 towers down on their side. Imagine what they could do if they take 5 more towers on the side of aSpera. They'll be having such an extra boost in their gold that it will be a very scary gold graph, I think, for aSpera. Very scary gold difference to deal with. Oh, Reeve. Well, that was Alchemist. He hurts. In case people were wondering, he does hurt for sure. They're gonna try to move onward. I mean, Tinker is the one to land the March of the Machines. He has got a Scythe of Ice ready right now. Nature's Prophet not yet there. In comes the Dream Coil. Actually, they want to take down Inquisitor. What a fucker though, shackled now. To a tree. Power shot comes. Rocket will fly. Yules will keep him safe for the moment. Perhaps he can blink out afterwards. Phase shift. Yep. He blinks. He gets himself out. Nobody else dies. Unless Nature's Prophet can find him. I was actually thinking about TPing in. Does his team have an urn or something that can hit? Yep. Amazing has an urn. He can heal him up if he wants to. But he's very low on mana, so if he goes in, he might not be able to do enough. But that doesn't matter. Reeves wants to go in anyway. Poison Nova still comes out. Lich ultimate stuff bouncing around, but still does the slows. Venom is the first one to die. Looks like Inquisitor might be second, but that Moonlight Shadow Blocking the escape from aSpera. It's gonna be a very useful tool right there as Mantis takes an arrow to the face, but doesn't really matter. They don't go in on it. Still 1 for 0, and more importantly than that one kill on the Venomancer, they take the tower. They take the tower. Yes, they do. And that means the NEXT.kz, I would say, has successfully come back in this game. There might still be a couple of towers behind, and they might still be having to deal with a lot of split push and with a dead motherfucker. But the start is there, the Desolator is there even on the Weaver. His split pushing might actually be a bit more scary right now. aSpera is definitely not out of this as well, but this is once again an even game. Gold graph doesn't translate that. Experience graph doesn't translate that. But with the amount of pushing power on aSpera, they only need to win a couple of fights before they can take the game. NEXT.kz needs to win a couple more. But by the looks of it, they seem to be very anxious to do just that. This Alchemist, no one would have believed that he started out as a support if you see his inventory right now. 33 minutes in. Like, if you see this as 50 minutes and you say, you know, this guy was a support at level 1, you'd understand. I mean, everybody builds Midases on supports right now, and you do get ahead in gold, and you get your farm up. But this is a very farmed Alchemist, and that's all due to amazing. I mean, I can't stress enough that ancient stack has got such a big impact on the game. And an Alchemist is one of those heroes that can take it down very fast. I feel that we are going to see that a lot more often if Alchemist makes it through, because he's been banned out a lot lately. So we have got another pause coming out. BKB almost ready up on Topor. Looks like Lucky is going for Necronomicon after his 4th staff. Necronomicon, of course, already complete upon Tomash, and that is indeed a level 3 Necronomicon. Inquisitor, another Necronomicon for him. It's just level 2 for him right now, though. With the recipe and the courier, that is. Sharvik not going for Necronomicon. Breaking the pattern right there. But with the Scythe of Ice, I think he makes up for that one. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this Weaver is going to build. I mean, he's got himself and a Lincolns and a BKB. We've been seeing that more and more lately. More and more often. But very defensive, but now he can fully focus on getting the damage items that he needs.
Warriors of the wood.
With all outer towers down on NEXT.kz. I mean, yeah, they're doing good. If they have a 5-on-5 fight, they might actually be getting that fight going for them, but I don't think that aSpera is gonna let them have that 5-on-5 fight by, like, that's just not gonna happen. Why would you let it happen? Because if that happens, NEXT.kz would probably win. And they would probably be able to take a tier 2 tower off. While if you just fight 4-on-5, you can actually try to take down the tier 3 in top or bottom in the meantime. Because split pushing, yes. Something that aSpera definitely has. While Morana, you're dead. Dream Coil being even used for that one. And that's something that NEXT.kz has to keep doing. Because if you know that they're not going to get a team fight, they need to try and just pick people off so that they can still force out a fight. And know that they're not going to lose too much in return for it. Picking off Morana, important part of that. We also have got the wards up, of course, to back that up. Nice aggressive ward in the Radiant jungle. They also have some defensive wards up, though. In their own jungle. Just to see, for example, if Nature's Prophet is going to farm there. Sharvik might be in some trouble. Reeves doesn't have a stun yet, and it looks like they're going to let him go. Shackle coming in, doesn't latch. Alchemist already charging up his stun with Mantis coming in. The stun wasn't even needed anymore, but does pick up the kill. Tier 1 tower will get dropped. Tinker Force back. NEXT.kz. I didn't even mention their scores. In the next pause, I will show you their scores, because Mantis and co have not been defeated yet in StarLadder Star Series Season 8. They have never dropped a game. Apart from up against aSpera when they were having lag issues. Mantis, what are you doing? Force the time lapse away from the kill. Doesn't get the kill on the Veno.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But this just shows their aggression. And with all the lanes pushed out, but pushing for aSpera is going to be very difficult. NEXT.kz did that really nice. More rockets flying though. Nature's Prophet of course still dead as well. So no split pushing coming out from him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Silence.
And they're trying to choke aSpera to death. I'd say so far so good. Still Tinker is doing nice though in farm, but he is the really only one. Mirana has not paid off for aSpera. I think if they had a different carry instead of Mirana, like maybe even a Gyro or something, they had a way better option in this later game, because she is actually lower on farm than 4 of the heroes of NEXT.kz. And that's quite troublesome. She is just not going to be having a big of enough impact. If you had a Gyrocopter with these same items, he'd have a way bigger impact than a Mirana would have. That's the downside of Mirana. She is not the more she's not the farming core. She's the ganking core, the utility core, the nice Moonlight Shadow core. But in terms of hard carry, she's just not gonna carry you all that far. Back is not so strong. And aSpera, this is the trouble, right? You've got 2 heroes. Like not now that the trouble is now because their base is kind of enclosed with surrounded by enemy heroes. You've got 2 heroes that normally expect to be split pushing and farming across the map, Tinker and Nature's Prophet. But they now have to share that farm. Had a minus on Nature's Prophet is still going to help him out, obviously. But Sharvik doesn't really like sharing. At least Tinker doesn't like sharing. He needs that farm, he needs that gold, he needs to be 6 lost at— oh, Equal just walked into an arrow. And actually, they initiate up on him, but in comes Motherfucker with the Dream Coil up on 2. Are they more people backing him up? No, they're not. They're backing themselves off, but Equal lives, and that was the main deal there. Alchemist charging up a stun. Moonlight Shadow is there though. He sees Lucky. He goes in on it. Lucky, not so lucky. Lucky dead. Looking for more. He doesn't have another stun, but he does turn on his BKB. Sharvik hexed up. Nice arrow still, but Sharvik dies from the amazing right click damage of the Lich. Pun intended, because his name is actually amazing. What a fucker. Yule stepped to himself, realized that he was in trouble. Should be able to phase shift himself out, though the silence now ended. Tinker, he bought back, trying to make a difference. Hexing up Reeves. So far NEXT.kz, he haven't lost a single hero just yet. There goes the first one. It is the Lich that goes down. Another Hex comes out. This time it's Equal, and he goes down for realsies. This time no saving grace coming out. Double kill for Inquisitor in the meantime. Talking about split push. Hello. Mantis split pushing on the top lane. Now he is not going to be able to take down the tower, and he might actually be in some trouble. He's hexed up. Does have a time lapse. Let's see if he can get it off before he lives. Time lapse. BKB time lapse and run. He gets out. He runs. He is successful. Toma's still coming in, but doesn't get the hex, doesn't get the sprout off because of that BKB. Mantis looks to be successful in running for his life right there, and his heart will heal him up to full in no time, so he doesn't even need to go back to base. He can just continue farming in his own jungle. NEXT.kz, they did not get high ground. They did not get a tier 3 tower, but they've shown that they can fight into the March of the Machines. They can have that synergy, that weaving in and out of a fight, which is very important. They of course took down a Tinker in the moment where he was out of position. I don't think it's going to happen again, or at least Sharvik is going to be a lot more careful. But NEXT.kz, the moment that something appears that is just out of place, and talking about heroes there, they will be able to initiate on that, and that's what that last fight showed. We have got them in favor, 20k gold, over, like I would say 29k experience already in their favor as well in terms of levels. And taking a look at the levels, 23, 21 and 19. Highest levels in the game, all 3 on NEXT.kz. With aSpera, I mean, okay, like, Nature's Prophet is level 18, highest level for him, but he has got a Hand of Midas, so that's his excuse. Tinker, second highest, but he is still lower than the Elder Titan. And there is only one hero lower level than him on the side of NEXT.kz, which is the Lich. He's a support. I don't think he's that sad that he is one of the lower ones. He's not even as low as a Venomancer, though I believe Venomancer does have more net worth. Yes, he does. But that's because they've been splitting it up more. Which is something that actually favors NEXT.kz at the moment, because even though Amazing is really far behind, Alchemist is doing really well. Like, this is a quad-core lineup from NEXT.kz. And it's working out beautifully. Normally you'd say, like, this could be a bit too greedy, but it worked out because it is an Alchemist. Because he could farm that Ancient stack. Because he has Grievel's Greed and Hand of Midas. And he is not taking farm away anymore from other people, as they are trying to make a stand, trying to make a go here on this bottom lane. Tower already down to half HP. Reeves just standing in the margin machine, showing that he can. Whoa, and I just got some news about next match, but I'll tell that later, as Venomancer is the one who got bursted down here very fast. Reeves getting a stun up on Inquisitor. The Dream Coil is there as well, but the Moonlight Shadow keeps Inquisitor safe, and actually Lich will go down. Nature's Prophet for him though, but he buys back. He has a buyback. Lich does not have the buyback. Let's see if Nature's Prophet can make a difference. Mirana's still alive as well, might be able to throw in some good arrows. March of the Machines are still there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Thomas just walked himself in there, gets hexed, gets wrecked as well, or at least gets forced back. Might not be getting wrecked as Mantis backs himself up. Indeed he does, goes for different targets instead, finds Inquisitor. Inquisitor is dead, looking for more, punched in the face. Mirana is dead. That is two more actually, down on the side of aSpera, and that seems to be the full lane of Rax, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this becoming even more than that, because why would NEXT.kz back off? Look at Equal, he is just so incredibly fat. He's got a heart of his own. Tier 3 tower, already dead as well. Everybody's got a heart. I like all these three carries, all have hearts. Hearts allow you to walk in that March of the Machines. Might not be able to allow you to walk into two March of the Machines on top of each other, but it's not getting to that point. Sharfik doesn't have time for that. The GGs come out. NEXT.kz unbeaten here in StarLadder Star Series. And our next match is actually gonna be in an hour, because the game between Fnatic and 4FC that we were gonna see is already over, in terms of that's a death win for Fnatic, as 4FC could not get their roster together. So our next game is gonna be at 1800, Na'Vi versus Alliance. As NEXT.kz, I have to say, I did not see this coming. I actually almost signed their death warrant right there in that 15-minute mark, I think, when Inquisitor was just... Or not Inquisitor, when Sharfik was just making things work with that Tinker of his, but overall, they make it happen. NEXT.kz, impressive. Still unbeaten. 7-0. Let's have a bit of a break before our next game begins. I'll play some music for you. I'll try to switch it up. I did play only 2 Steps from Hell just now. I'll see if I can find something else. For now, it's just 2 Steps from Hell. Also, it looks like for our next matches, I might not be joined by Mod, because he had some issues to deal with. We are going to be joined by G Advance, so that is going to be a co-caster for the next match at 1600. Don't go anywhere, though you do have time to get some food and such, but we'll be back.